Imagine stepping outside and watching a drone taxi rise silently between skyscrapers, while a 1,100 horsepower electric SUV pivots in place like military hardware. No trade show stage, no CGI reveal, just ordinary traffic in a city that feels like it skipped a decade overnight. That sounds like a tech fantasy, right? But right now, China is rolling out what many are calling a new generation of transportation across roads, rails, and even the skies. And it's not happening in isolation. It's happening at scale. So is this just fast innovation? Or is China quietly rebuilding how people move from the ground up? China already operates more than 42,000 kilometers of high-speed rail, the largest network in the world. Trains regularly run at 350 kilometers per hour between major cities. At the same time, Chinese companies are pushing electric SUVs past 1,000 horsepower, testing fully autonomous air taxis, and deploying robo-taxis without drivers in select cities. This isn't one breakthrough, it's many at once. And when multiple systems change at the same time, that usually signals something bigger than a product launch. When roads, airspace, and infrastructure all evolve together, what does that really mean? Let's start on the road. The BYD Yangwang U8 is not a normal SUV. It delivers over 1,100 horsepower. It can perform a full 360-degree tank turn while standing still. It uses advanced hydraulic suspension that allows it to raise or lower its body instantly depending on terrain. And in emergency conditions, it can float in water up to about 1 meter deep. This is not a marketing stunt. China is already the largest electric vehicle producer in the world, manufacturing more than 8 million EVs annually. Companies like KATL control a major share of the global lithium battery market. Over 2 million public EV charging stations are installed across the country. When you control the batteries, the cars, and the charging network, you don't just build vehicles, you build an ecosystem. If one country dominates battery supply, vehicle production, and charging networks, who shapes the future of road transport? Chinese automakers are also pushing advanced chassis systems. Vehicles like the NIOET 9 feature active suspension that adjusts in real time. The car can stabilize itself, lean into turns, and even shake off snow from its roof using its hydraulic system. These are engineering details that show how far EV design has evolved beyond simple electric motors. But the road is only part of the story. What happens when transportation doesn't stop at the road? Now look up. The EHang EH216-S is a fully autonomous two-passenger aerial vehicle. It uses 8 pairs of electric rotors. It has a top speed of around 130 kilometers per hour and an operational range designed for short urban trips. Most importantly, it has completed more than 40,000 test flights. China granted it an Air Operator Certificate for commercial autonomous passenger flights. That means it's not just flying in test zones, it's moving toward real operations under regulatory approval. This is not a concept video from a startup. It is part of a national push into what China calls the low-altitude economy. If autonomous air taxis become normal in Chinese cities first, what message does that send to the rest of the world? Xpeng Aero HT is also building a dedicated flying car production facility, spanning roughly 180,000 square meters. The goal is not a few demonstration units. The goal is scaled manufacturing. Regulators are drafting frameworks to manage low-altitude air corridors, with major milestones targeted by 2027. Urban pilot zones are already being tested in selected cities. Airspace below traditional airline routes is being mapped, regulated, and prepared for controlled autonomous operations. That kind of planning does not happen overnight. It signals coordination between industry and government. Meanwhile, multiple Chinese cities are experimenting with fully autonomous robo-taxi fleets. Companies like Baidu operate driverless services in designated zones. Advanced LiDAR systems, radar, and AI mapping guide vehicles through city streets without human control. Some fleets operate for up to 16 hours on a single charge. When autonomous transport moves from testing to daily use, who sets the global standard? What makes this shift different is that it is not one invention, it is a system upgrade. Electric vehicles dominate manufacturing. Charging networks scale nationally. Air taxis gain certification. High-speed rail connects regions at 350 kilometers per hour. Suspended monorails are built in months, not years. The speed of integration matters. When ground, air, and digital infrastructure advance together, momentum builds quickly. And momentum can shift leadership. China is not just unveiling flashy machines. It is connecting hardware, software, regulation, and manufacturing into one coordinated transport push. So the real question is not whether these vehicles look futuristic. The real question is who will normalize them first. Now shift from vehicles to infrastructure, because that is where the real scale appears. China is not only building new machines, it is redesigning the systems those machines operate in. Take Wuhan's suspended SkyTrain. The pilot line stretches about 10.5 kilometers and was completed in roughly 7 months. That speed alone raised eyebrows. Traditional rail projects in many countries take years just to clear approval. Here, an elevated monorail was planned, built, and put into testing within a single-year cycle. The train moves at around 60 kilometers per hour and can carry close to 200 passengers per trip. Because it hangs above the ground instead of running on traditional tracks, it avoids street congestion completely. It also takes up less surface space, which allows cities to preserve roads and green areas below. This is not a flashy tourism ride. It is urban design thinking. Elevated systems reduce land pressure in dense cities and cut accident risks tied to street-level traffic. And this is happening inside a country that already operates more than 42,000 kilometers of high-speed rail. Some routes run consistently at 350 kilometers per hour. China also unveiled a 600 kilometer per hour maglev prototype, one of the fastest ground transport systems ever tested. Whether every route runs at that speed is not the point. The point is ambition. When a country builds at that scale, transportation becomes strategy. Now look at how autonomy is expanding on the streets. Baidu's Apollo Go robo-taxi service operates in multiple Chinese cities. In some zones, vehicles run without safety drivers behind the wheel. These cars use advanced sensor stacks that combine LiDAR, radar, cameras, and AI-driven mapping systems. They constantly scan 360 degrees around the vehicle and adjust in real time. Some robo-taxi fleets operate up to 16 hours on a single charge. The vehicles are electric. The routes are digitally mapped. The traffic systems are increasingly integrated into smart city networks. This is not just about removing drivers. It is about collecting data, refining machine learning, and building confidence in large-scale autonomous navigation. When thousands of rides are completed every day without incident, public perception slowly changes. What once felt risky starts to feel routine. That normalization matters, because once autonomy becomes normal in one country at scale, standards begin to form. Safety expectations, liability models, urban planning rules, all of them start to align around the system that works first. Meanwhile, the United States remains strong in high-performance electric vehicles. Tesla continues to dominate premium EV innovation. Companies like Rivian push advanced truck platforms. Silicon Valley leads in autonomous software research. But infrastructure rollout tells a different story. FAA certification. Timelines for autonomous air vehicles stretch into 2026 and beyond. EV charging networks are expanding in the US, but deployment is fragmented across states. Rail expansion projects face complex approval processes and local resistance. Innovation is present. Scaling is slower. China's approach is different. Central coordination allows charging networks, rail expansion, EV manufacturing, and air mobility regulation to move in parallel. That does not automatically guarantee success, but it accelerates execution. And execution is what shifts markets. There is also the supply chain factor. Chinese firms control a large portion of global lithium processing and battery manufacturing. That affects everything from cars to drones to rail systems. When energy storage capacity is strong domestically, transport electrification becomes easier to scale. This is where the competition becomes clear. The race is no longer just about building the fastest car or the smartest robo-taxi. It is about who integrates transport technology into a full national system first. Vehicles, infrastructure, regulation, data networks, and energy supply all tied together. That kind of integration influences global markets. Countries importing electric buses, high-speed rail systems, or autonomous taxi platforms often adopt the standards and technology frameworks that come with them. So when China launches what it calls a new generation of transport, it is not presenting one machine. It is presenting a layered system that touches roads, skies, rails, and digital networks at once. Whether every project succeeds is not the immediate question. The bigger point is momentum. Momentum changes perception. Perception changes investment. Investment changes influence. Transportation has always shaped global power. Railroads expanded industrial economies. Highways reshaped cities. Aviation redefined distance. Now electric mobility, autonomous systems, elevated rail, and low-altitude air taxis are merging into something new. The United States still holds deep technological strength and innovative capacity, but the speed of deployment happening in China is forcing comparison. Because when new generation transport moves from prototype to everyday reality in one place before another, it signals more than engineering progress. It signals a shift in who might shape the next era of mobility. If you want to stay ahead of how global innovation is reshaping transportation before it hits mainstream headlines, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. The future of movement is being built right now, and it is moving fast. If you want deep dives into the biggest tech shifts shaping the world, hit subscribe. Stay ahead of the future before it becomes the present.